Right now, while you're reading this, your kidneys are working quietly in the background, filtering, cleaning, balancing. But here's what most people over 60 never hear from their doctor, that quiet work is getting harder every single day, and the damage happening right now won't show up on your face or in how you feel this week. It shows up years later, when it's much harder to reverse. In my last video, I walked you through the specific foods that are silently straining your kidneys every single day. Things most seniors eat without a second thought, not realizing what they're doing inside the body. Today, I'm going one step further. I'm going to show you a simple 3-step morning routine that can help protect and strengthen your kidneys starting tomorrow morning before you even eat breakfast. My name is Dr. James Caldwell, and I've spent over 2 decades working with patients over 60. What I've learned is this: kidney damage is almost never sudden. It's quiet, it's gradual, and by the time most people notice something is wrong, significant damage has already been done. The American Kidney Health Institute confirms that millions of older Americans are walking around right now with reduced kidney function and no symptoms whatsoever. That's exactly why your morning routine matters more than you realize. These 3 steps are straightforward, they cost almost nothing, and you can start today. Before we dive in, hit subscribe so you never miss a health update that could matter for you. Drop a comment below. I personally read every single one. Now, let's get into it. Step number 1. The very first thing you do after opening your eyes in the morning matters more than most people realize. And I don't mean checking your phone or thinking about your schedule. I mean what you put into your body in those first few quiet minutes before the day takes over. Because here's something your kidneys desperately need you to understand. After 7 or 8 hours of sleep, they've been working without a break, filtering your blood, clearing waste, balancing minerals, and by the time morning arrives, your entire system is running low on fluid. Toxins that built up overnight are sitting concentrated in your kidneys, waiting to be flushed out. What you drink first sets the tone for everything that follows. Most people reach for coffee, some reach for tea, and I'm not here to take those away from you. But if you drink one of those before anything else, you're giving your kidneys a stimulant when what they actually need is hydration and gentle support. Here's what I recommend instead, and it costs almost nothing. Warm water with a small amount of fresh lemon juice. Half a lemon, squeezed into a glass of lukewarm water, consumed before anything else enters your body. Now let me explain the science, because this isn't just folk medicine. Lemons contain a naturally occurring compound called citrate. And citrate does something remarkable inside your urinary system. It binds to calcium particles in the urine before they have a chance to cluster together and form kidney stones. Research supported by the National Kidney Health Association found that higher citrate levels in urine can reduce stone formation risk by nearly 1/3. That's significant, especially for adults over 60 whose kidneys are already working under greater daily pressure. But the benefits go beyond stones. Lemon water gently encourages urine flow, which helps your kidneys flush overnight waste more efficiently. It also supports a healthier pH balance in the urinary tract, and there's evidence it may help regulate uric acid, the compound responsible not just for kidney stress, but for that deep, nagging joint pain that so many of my patients in their 60s and 70s describe. Let me tell you about a man named Robert Callahan. He was 69 years old, a retired firefighter, and he came into my office looking exhausted. Not the kind of tired that sleep fixes, the kind that sits behind your eyes and follows you around all day. He told me his lower back had been aching for months. His ankles were slightly swollen by evening, and he said, "Doctor, I feel like my body is carrying something heavy that I can't put down." I asked him one simple question. "What's the first thing you drink every morning?" He looked at me like it was a trick. "Coffee," he said, "black, 2 cups before I even eat." I didn't lecture him. I just made one request. For the next 30 days before the coffee, drink a glass of warm lemon water. Just that. Nothing else changed. 3 weeks later, he was back, and the look on his face told me everything before he said a word. He sat down, leaned forward, and said, "I don't know what's happening, but that heaviness is lifting. My back feels different. I actually woke up this morning and didn't dread getting out of bed." I told him exactly what I'll tell you now. His kidneys had simply been given the one thing they needed most, a proper start to the morning. That's not magic. That's biology working the way it was designed to. Many people ask me how long before they notice a difference. Honestly, most people begin feeling changes in energy and urinary comfort within 2 to 3 weeks. But the deeper benefits, reduced stone risk, lower uric acid, improved filtration, those build over months of consistency. This is not a quick fix, it's a daily investment. So here is your first action step. Tomorrow morning, before coffee, before tea, before breakfast, squeeze half a lemon into a glass of lukewarm water and drink it slowly. Give your kidneys those 10 quiet minutes before the demands of the day begin. And tell me in the comments, are you a coffee-first person, or have you already tried starting your morning with lemon water? I want to hear from you. Now let's move to step 2, and I want you to pay close attention here, because this one surprises people. Most seniors assume that rest is always the right medicine, and while sleep is essential, there's something that happens in the body during those first 20 minutes after waking that most people completely misunderstand. Your circulation is still sluggish, your blood is moving slower than it will at any other point in your day. And the region of your body that suffers most from that slow circulation first thing in the morning is exactly where your kidneys live. Your kidneys sit deep in your lower back, one on each side of your spine, and they are entirely dependent on strong, consistent blood flow to do their job properly. When circulation is slow, oxygen delivery drops, waste filtration slows down. The cellular repair that should be wrapping up from the overnight process gets interrupted. And over time, that daily interruption adds up to real damage. Quiet, invisible, cumulative damage that most people don't connect to their morning habits. This is why step 2 is 2 minutes of gentle, deliberate movement immediately after waking. Not exercise, not a workout. 2 minutes of slow, intentional motion designed specifically to wake up your circulation and direct blood flow toward your lower back and kidneys. Here's how to do it. Begin with what's called a seated spinal rotation. Sit on the edge of your bed with both feet flat on the floor. Slowly turn your upper body to the right. Hold for 5 seconds, then rotate gently to the left. Repeat this 6 times on each side. Then move into a slow standing back extension. Simply place your hands on your lower back, stand tall, and gently arch backward just slightly. Not far. Just enough to feel a mild stretch across the kidney region. Hold for 3 seconds. Repeat 4 times. Finally, take 10 deep, slow belly breaths, not chest breathing, belly breathing, where your stomach rises and falls with each breath. This activates your diaphragm, which acts like a gentle internal pump, massaging the organs beneath it, including your kidneys. Research from a leading institute on aging found that even modest, low-impact movement in the morning can reduce inflammatory markers in the blood by a meaningful percentage. And chronic inflammation, the slow, silent kind, is one of the most consistent contributors to accelerated kidney decline in adults over 60. You don't have to run a mile to fight it. You just have to move. Let me tell you about Margaret Ellison, 74 years old, retired school librarian, sharp as anyone I've ever met. She came to see me because her energy had been declining steadily for almost a year. She was sleeping 8 hours and waking up exhausted. Her blood pressure had been creeping up, and she told me something that stopped me. She said, "Doctor, I sit from the moment I wake up until I go to bed. I'm just so stiff in the morning that moving feels like punishment." I understood immediately. Her body had settled into a pattern of stillness, and her circulation was paying the price. I didn't send her to physical therapy. I gave her a piece of paper with 3 gentle movements and told her to do them for exactly 2 minutes every morning before she sat down for breakfast. She looked at me skeptically. 2 minutes. That's all? I told her. Margaret, 2 minutes done every day beats an hour done once a week. Consistency is the medicine. 6 weeks later, she called my office. She didn't even want an appointment. She just wanted me to know. She said her morning stiffness had dropped dramatically. She felt warmer in her body within the first hour of waking. Her blood pressure readings had slightly improved, and the fatigue, that bone-deep morning exhaustion, was lifting. She said, "I feel like my body is actually waking up now instead of just going through the motions." That's what 2 minutes of intentional movement can do, not because it's a miracle, but because the body responds to being moved. Circulation improves, oxygen reaches tissues that have been sitting in low flow overnight. Your kidneys get the fresh blood supply they need to complete their morning work properly. A question I hear often is, what if I have arthritis or knee pain? My answer is always this: modify but don't stop. Even if you can only rotate your neck gently or take 5 slow, deep breaths, that is better than nothing. Movement doesn't have to be big to be effective. It just has to happen. So after your lemon water tomorrow morning, I want you to stand up, or sit up straight on the edge of your bed, and give your body 2 minutes. Rotate slowly, breathe deeply, let the blood move. Your kidneys will begin receiving what they need within minutes of you starting. Now, step 3 is where I see the biggest mistakes happening in the homes of seniors across the country. And when I explain this, most people look at me and say, I never would have thought of that. Because it's not about what you eat, it's about something far more specific. Something that happens in a narrow window of time every single morning. And getting it wrong puts more strain on your kidneys before 9 a.m. than most people accumulate in an entire afternoon. Stay with me, because this changes how you'll think about breakfast for the rest of your life. Most people assume that a high-protein breakfast is the healthiest way to start the day, and protein is important. I'm not disputing that. But there's a timing problem that almost nobody talks about, and it directly affects how hard your kidneys have to work during their most vulnerable hours of the day. When you sleep, your kidneys shift into a deep repair and filtration cycle. They're processing the metabolic waste from the previous day, rebalancing your body's fluid levels, and clearing nitrogen compounds from your blood. That process doesn't finish the moment your alarm goes off. It continues for roughly 60 to 90 minutes after waking. And if you eat a heavy protein meal during that window, eggs, meat, protein shakes, your kidneys are forced to abandon their cleanup work and immediately pivot to processing the nitrogen waste that protein metabolism produces. Think of it this way. Imagine a hospital cleaning crew working the overnight shift, scrubbing floors and sanitizing rooms. Now imagine that at 6 in the morning, before they've finished, 100 new patients walk in simultaneously. The crew can't complete the job they started. They're overwhelmed before the day even begins. That's exactly what happens to your kidneys when you load them with protein before they've finished their overnight cycle. The solution is simple. Create a 60 to 90 minute window after waking where your first food is light, low in protein, and hydrating. Fresh fruit works beautifully. Berries, melon, a sliced pear. Warm oatmeal with no protein powder added. A small bowl of fruit with a drizzle of honey. These foods give your body gentle energy without triggering the nitrogen processing burden that protein creates. After that window closes, your kidneys have completed their morning cycle. Now you can eat eggs, yogurt, or whatever protein source you prefer, and your kidneys will handle it efficiently without the strain. So, here is your third action step. Tomorrow morning, after your lemon water and your 2 minutes of movement, reach for fruit or oatmeal as your first food. Wait at least 1 hour before introducing protein. That's it. One shift in timing. And tell me in the comments, what do you normally eat first thing in the morning? I read every response, and your answer might shape my next video. We've covered a lot of ground today, and I want you to sit with this for just a moment before you move on. Kidney health doesn't collapse overnight. It erodes, slowly, quietly, one morning habit at a time. And that cuts both ways, because just as the wrong habits can silently wear your kidneys down, the right habits, done consistently starting tomorrow morning, can genuinely change the direction your health is heading. That's not optimism, that's biology. I'm Dr. James Caldwell, and everything I share with you comes from one place. My genuine belief that people over 60 deserve practical, honest health information that they can actually use. Not complicated protocols, not expensive treatments, just real steps grounded in science that fit into the life you're already living. Today we walked through 3 of those steps together. Warm lemon water first thing in the morning to give your kidneys the fluid and citrate support they need. 2 minutes of gentle movement to wake up your circulation and get blood flowing where it matters most. And that critical morning window, protecting your kidneys from early protein overload so they can finish the repair work they started overnight. Robert and Margaret didn't need prescriptions to feel better. They needed information and the willingness to act on it. You have both right now. So tell me in the comments, which of these 3 steps feels most doable for you tomorrow morning? Start there, just one, build from it. If this video helped you, please share it with someone you care about, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next, and remember this above everything else. Your body is always listening to what you do next.